It's right here. I'm sorry. You can make room on the couch. David's going to do his segment, which obviously is a great insult, but there's nothing I can do about it. And then we will welcome. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's that way. It's around the corner. Yeah, that's okay. If you know what, if you need to mark your territory,
in America.
It's time for the economic update, the GEM system with David Griscom. David, have at it.
Yeah.
You want to take a breath? It's okay. Professor Wolf is here. It's all right. He's wearing a leather jacket.
I actually am scared. I don't have any fears. That's one thing that's important to know about me. If you've ever worked a retail, there we go. Pull on my old Colt McCoy. If you've ever worked a service job or retail job, you've probably understood what is called as the salary trap, wherein somebody who's been working on the line at a bar or pub gets moved up to manager and they get paid $28,000 a year, but now they're expected to work overtime and they're no longer getting any overtime benefits or higher pay for that. Right? And it's something that is used all across the United States, basically to squeeze out extra labor from working people. It's very exploitative. It's very much happening to low-wage workers. So during the Obama administration, at the end of the Obama administration, they actually made a move to change this. And Obama was going to put in a new rule that basically anyone who was on salary who was making less than $47,000 would now have to be paid overtime if they're working more than 40 hours a week.
Right.
Now, obviously, immediately this gets challenged by the courts, and all of these pro-business groups are trying to stop it. And basically, it just got shut down in Texas. So now that we have Donald Trump and these friends of labor, they've introduced a new rule that is a new overtime rule. But of course, the Trump's rule is ridiculously low. So it's only going to cover workers who are making $35,000 or less. Basically allowing, yeah, exactly. Making it seem like people are making $36,000 a year, some high-paid CEO or something like that.
We're not going to help you out.
Instead of
how much money do you need?
And you have to understand that a lot of times these are people who are working in industries like, hotels. So these are people who are basically required to be on site 45, 50 hours a week and basically aren't able to have a good quality of life because of these really exploitative rules. But just to understand the difference between the Obama rule and the Trump proposal, 8.2 million workers in the United States are going to be left behind because of this new Trump proposal. And just to look at the demographics of that, it's 4.2 million women, 3 million people of color, 4.7 million workers without a college degree, and 2.7 million parents of children under the age of 18 who are going to be who are not going to be able to benefit from overtime, which, by the way, was something that the labor movement fought tooth and nail to get in the past. And now, as we see over and over and over, these basic rights that have been fought through workers' struggle are over and over being pulled back because of weird technicalities. We talk about independent contractors and all these other things, basically ways for major corporations to get around labor laws that we've fought so hard to create. And just, one last thing, if the 1975 rule that was including workers who were on salary to get overtime benefits had just adjusted to inflation, today it would be 58,000 people who are making less than $58,000 a year, which far exceeds even the Obama rule. So you see, this tension, one, that even the Obama rule wasn't even as good as the original rule that was put into place. And two, you see fundamentally this is the difficulty that we're going to have when it comes to regulating capitalism, as long as we have workers in spaces where they're under the dictatorship of capital, because capital is always going to find ways to skirt the rules and regulations that we've put forward until we can have stronger worker protections and workers actually controlling their own schedules, their own salaries, and things of that nature, instead of being arbitrarily put into positions where they're forced to work overtime without pay or any benefits for it.
Well, I thought that was great. We're going to take a brief break, and then we'll see what Professor Wolf says about how that went. You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives. with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.